St. Francis doctors say they're seeing a big jump in the number of kids being admitted to the hospital with RSV.
It's the highest number of RSV patients they've seen since before the pandemic. News on 60's Jordan Tidwell has advice from doctors on how to keep your child healthy.
Doctors at the Children's Hospital at St. Francis say their beds are filling up with children with RSV.
Sometimes multiple times a year we'll see a round of RSV. For the Children's Hospital, this is the highest acuity of RSV that we've seen since prior to COVID.
Dr. Campbell says RSV affects kids differently based on their age. He says babies up to 6 months have the biggest chance of ending up in the hospital.
Kids will be noisy with RSV. They'll have increased secretions that they'll try to breathe through, so that'll make them noisy, but they should not be distressed.
He says symptoms typically stop and the virus runs its course after about 5 or 6 days. Dr. Campbell says there's 2 main signs to look for if your child is sick: their breathing and hydration levels.
If they're breathing 60 times a minute or more consistently, that's a time to seek medical attention. If they're using their accessory muscles, the little muscles between their ribs, or they're using belly breathing technique to move air, that's a time to seek medical attention. And then, of course, on the hydration side, if they're not producing those 4 wet diapers in a 24-hour time span, time to look at hydration.
Dr. Campbell says the best thing you can do is wash your kids' hands, keep them home if they're sick, and take them to the doctor if they get worse. He says while it's hard to predict what will happen in the next few months, he is worried about the rise in cases, not just in Tulsa, but across the country.
Bed capacity is going to be reached. The amount of intervention needed for a child with RSV is going to increase. And so those demands are really, really high right now. And what we don't know is what the flu season is going to do as we creep more into the winter months.
In Tulsa, Jordan Tidwell, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.